The 2024-2025 college football season was amazing. We got our first true champion in a 12-team playoff. But this season, we had some shocking results. And that's why you're here right now, because I'm going to give you the most shocking results of the entire 2024-25 college football season. You guys make sure that you guys get down there, like, subscribe, get notifications, tell a friend, and most importantly, share the Unafraid Show, where we love college football, and we hope that you do too. First game up. Man, this game was shocking. Northern Illinois 16, Notre Dame 14. How in the world did Marcus Freeman take a home loss at Notre Dame Stadium to a MAC school and then end up in the national championship? Man, come on. Like, that is reason enough to retroactively make this the most shocking upset of the season. But even at the time that it happened, it actually felt that this one would be tough to top. Like, yo, this is the most shocking thing of the season. But there is more. And Northern Illinois not only won this game against Notre Dame, but they actually started out on the wrong end of a 13-play, 75-yard drive and ended up down 7-0 before responding with a touchdown that will go down in school history. 83-yard catch and run by Antario Brown, and neither team scored a touchdown after the first quarter. And Notre Dame had a 58-yard field goal attempt blocked as time expired. And then afterward, this is where the gotcha goes, because Northern Illinois coach Thomas Hammock, he was quoted as saying that he got on the horn and talked to Marcus Freeman to help him shore up some of the Notre Dame's weaknesses, which actually seemed crazy at the time. But when you look at how the Fighting Irish season turned out, this upset might have been as necessary as it was shocking. Nobody could have saw Vanderbilt beating Alabama 40-35. I think people forgot one big key to this upset is that Alabama was actually the #1 team in the country when Vanderbilt beat them at home. And then that led to the Vanderbilt fans taking the goalpost. They carried them out of the stadium and had some fun with them. Vanderbilt actually started up 13-0 in this game after a pick six. And when Alabama fans started to feel confident about a comeback after answering a touchdown of their own, Diego Pavia, the man we've made videos about on this channel, go search him out in case you want to know his whole backstory. He led the Commodores on a 10-minute drive to make the score 20-7. And that's when the whole world started to take notice. They're like, yo, what the hell is going on with Vanderbilt and Alabama? Man, but the final score, it might have been close, but Vanderbilt managed their lead beautifully all game long and actually made history. And with the dust settling on 2024, we now realize that Alabama wasn't the team that we thought that they were. But in the moment, this game gave the season a chaotic energy that reverberated throughout the entire rest of the season. And that was the first time that Vanderbilt beat Alabama in over 40 years. Absolutely shocking. The season started, in week 0 with a shocking moment, and we should have known that this season was going to be crazy. Now, I picked Florida State to win the ACC and go to the college football playoff. But for some reason, I picked them to lose their first game over in Dublin to Georgia Tech. Now, I know you can go ahead and make fun of me, but so did 81 other voters that cover ACC football for a living. So I wasn't alone in this one. Like, it was so much that it was enough to rank them #1 in the ACC preseason poll. But by the end of 2024, the only thing shocking about Florida State was if they would even get another win, because they started out the season 0-2 against Georgia Tech in Ireland and then Boston College at home. So now you're like, what the hell's going on? And they were actually physically dominated. And nobody saw a weak, soft FSU coming just 1 year after playing physical, game-wrecking football the previous season. So the season already started out in chaos, thanks to Florida State. By the time the season ended, Indiana 56, Nebraska 7 didn't really feel like that big of an upset. But in the moment, it was absolutely shocking. Now, here's the thing. The Hoosiers came in the game only as a 6.5-point favorite. And then you had the Cornhuskers taking a 49-point beating in what would match Indiana's biggest win in Big Ten history. Who saw that coming? because Nebraska fans came into this game with the #1 recruit in the country at quarterback, a nasty defensive line that had given Colorado's Shedeur Sanders absolute fits, and had only given up 8 touchdowns in 6 games. So you thought this could actually be a contest. But Indiana actually doubled that total just in this game. And if it's not on some level of one of the most shocking results in 2024, let me know down in the comments if you didn't think that that was shocking. At the end of the season, this one was just mind-blowing that much more. Kentucky 20, Ole Miss 17. So you had Lane Kiffin, their head coach, land the #1 transfer class in the country, on top of a big-time recruiting class as well. He had a stacked returning roster, and a lot of people in the country, including me, thought that the Rebels were just destined to be in the college football playoff, especially being that it was 12 teams. And not only did Ole Miss blow this game against Kentucky, they did it at home and missed the college football playoff. And with 4 minutes left, Ole Miss had Kentucky backed up inside their own 20, 4th and long situation, and then gave up a 63-yard pass from Brock Vandegrift to Berrien Brown. And then 2 plays later, Kentucky took the lead and then held on to the win. And it's not like Kentucky snuck up on Ole Miss, because they had already taken Georgia to the wire, and Ole Miss saw that. It was just a couple weeks before that. But it was still a massive shock to see the Wildcats pull this game off, roster versus roster. And the shock only grew as the rest of the season went on, because the Wildcats dropped 6 of their next 7 games, which made this even more explicable, effectively dragging Ole Miss out of the college football playoff discussion because Kentucky was so bad. And now every time Lane Kiffin tweets a complaint about the way the playoff is run, his mentions are filled with the, hey, I guess you should have beat Kentucky at home then. Just the facts. Now this one hurts. Ohio State 41, Oregon 21 in the Rose Bowl. Now that the season is over with, though, and we have a full picture, Oregon and Ohio State fans can actually debate which one of their 2 games against each other actually constitutes an upset. I was taught that order of operations matters. Let's take this into account, because Oregon winning the first game at home, while not even playing perfectly, made the college football playoff Rose Bowl 41-21 result seem like a hell of an upset, or at least an outlier with the way that it happened. Like, that was the thing that made it so shocking. It wasn't that Ohio State won, it was how they won, which made it so wild. And it got people debating, should buys happen? How should we seed teams? Everything, because these were the 2 best teams in the country. And I get the argument that the champion can't technically upset anybody, but nobody saw that coming. 34-8 at halftime, that's an upset. Or at least I'm upset. Either way, this game belongs on the list. Alabama made the list again. Oklahoma 24, Alabama 3. And I get that it wasn't Alabama's only soul-crushing defeat of the season, but they were a 2-touchdown favorite with the college football playoff on the line, and one of the best offensive coaches on earth on the sideline in Kalen DeBoer. And the Crimson Tide didn't even score a touchdown, not one single solitary one. Not only that, the Sooners ran the clock out on a 7-minute drive at the end of the game. And when was the last time that we saw Alabama get tapped out like this? They just got put in the chokehold. And they just got run over. They gave up 250 yards on the ground and crossed the 50-yard line on offense just twice in the second half. Like, this wasn't just a shocking result. It was a shocking new reality of college football that every empire eventually comes crashing down. More SEC action. Arkansas 19, Tennessee 14. Now, this isn't that shocking of an upset in retrospect, but the Razorbacks were tough this season with Sam Pittman's back against the wall with him on the hot seat, and they definitely earned respect. But at the time, it was 3-2 Arkansas hosting a top 5 undefeated Tennessee team. And they weren't giving up any points on defense either. And Arkansas hadn't beaten a top 5 opponent at home in 25 years. And Arkansas had a fantastic offensive game plan, and the stat sheet looks like they were able to give Tennessee a death by 1,000 paper cuts. But the crazy thing about this game was that the Volunteers actually had the lead and the ball with 3.5 minutes left in the game. But then Arkansas got the ball back, and backup quarterback Malachi Singleton helped carve the vaunted Tennessee defense up in just 4 plays. Now, Arkansas would go on from there to have an above average season, while Tennessee got turned into mincemeat in the college football playoff opener against Ohio State. And then Tennessee fans are left to wonder what type of seeding that they may have had if they didn't lose this game in Fayetteville against Arkansas. Maybe they may have had a chance to win a college football game instead of playing Ohio State. And this one was not just one game. This was multiple games because the Kansas Jayhawks got hot. And not every shocking result is contained to just one game, because Kansas didn't even make a bowl game. But for about a month, they were the Grim Reaper in the Big 12. And to be fair, though, the Jayhawks, this was a team that was about 25 points away from having 10 wins. So it's not like that they were just hot garbage, but beating a ranked Iowa State and then knocking both BYU and Colorado out of the Big 12 championship tiebreaker in back-to-back weeks was a damn big surprise. And that BYU win, it wasn't at Kansas, it was in Provo at BYU. And the Jayhawks actually came into the season with expectations that actually got shed in a very bad way. And then they came back and shocked everybody with the way that they finished, which is actually honestly one of the more crazy storylines of 2024 for sure. And now we got the most shocking game of 2024-2025 in retrospect. But then on one hand, you're like, was it really that shocking? Because it's happened 4 times in a row. And that is Michigan 13, Ohio State 10. Now, the Buckeyes came into this game favored by 21 points, which was the widest spread for this rivalry since 1978. Michigan in the game only threw for 62 yards and they threw 2 interceptions, but some kind of way won this game. And 2 of Michigan's best defensive backs were out against Igbuka, Jeremiah Smith and company. What the hell happened? Now, it did help the Wolverines' cause, though, that Will Howard threw 2 picks and Jaden Fielding missed 2 field goals. But the talent disparity on the field should have been negated all those mistakes. And the shock of this upset actually rocketed up the history books with Ohio State's national championship run. And you'll probably never hear about Ohio State's 2024 title game without a mention of a regular season loss, like something no team in history has ever had to deal with. And you guys, those are the most shocking games of the 2024-2025 season. If I missed one, hop it in the comments. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, get notifications to the Unafraid Show. Peace out.